Well, here we are. We are one day away from the launch of Alaskan truck drivers on Steam, and we've already had the price of the game, but we've also had a few updates going on as a result of the feedback from those who were doing the beta playtest. Now, one thing that I had been going on about is the fact that, well, I'm going to take a wee bit of credit amongst others. The route north to Prudhoe Bay is one thing that I was going on about. The main reason is that on that route, the road north was missing the delineators. That is the poles at each side of the road that actually tell you where the road is. They've got reflectors on them so that the truck headlights can see these poles, particularly at night, but obviously as well in bad weather, very bad weather, blizzards and everything that they get up there. And on the beta test, this whole thing had been overlooked by the developers, and that was one thing that I said in my feedback, that you must have the delineators at each side of the road because you've got to know where the road is. They thought that as they were testing the game themselves, now this is the developers talking, they thought that it was quite fun driving in the snow, not really knowing where the road is. I've sort of read between the lines and come up with my answer. I think they've completely overlooked that. I don't know whether they actually did quite as much investigating into the Dalton Highway north. Now, the Dalton Highway is a road that goes up that direction on the map, a lot further north than this. And they had completely overlooked the fact that you must have the delineators at each side of the road. And that way it helps you and helps any truck driver when they're driving on that part of the route. The other thing, of course, that they completely omitted is the Atigan Pass. And the Atigan Pass is the one major challenge among others that all truck drivers have heading north in Alaska on the Dalton Highway. And you might say, well, what is the Atigan Pass? Well, the Atigan Pass is the way the road heads through the mountain range heading up to Prudhoe Bay. And there is quite a climb. It goes right up to the top of the mountains and then down the other side onto the north slope, as they call it, which basically means you're right down on, from having trees round about you down south on the map, and of course in real life, when you head north and you get through and over the mountain range via that Atigan Pass. Now, the big challenge about the Atigan Pass is the fact that it is really, really notorious in winter. You've got very heavy trucks pulling very heavy loads, trying to go over a snow-covered road in a blizzard, and a severe risk of avalanche in that area. And this is another major thing that the developers completely overlooked in the game. I think as a result of the fact that they didn't really do a great deal of investigating to actually put this part of the map in. It's something that if they were to do it, they'd have to completely redesign the way the route goes going north. They would have to then, because really when you look at the game, if you look at the game while it's running, all you will see is the mountain ranges as a background. That's all they are in the game. Look at the mountains over there. They're only a background. Yet when you head north, there is a mountain range north that you do not head over, and you consequently you do not head over the Alaskan Pass. Big challenge to get the snow chains onto the truck and haul your load up that very dangerous part of the world. Now, they at least had the balls to decide that they were going to put the delineators in, and I'll confirm that, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to tab to the Steam page. This is a second update, and it says Alaskan Road Truckers final touches and Steam reviews. They want people to do reviews in the game once you've actually played it for 2 or 3 hours, which I will do once I get it. It says we're fast approaching our PC launch date of October the 18th, which is tomorrow as I speak right now, and we've been working non-stop to take on board all the feedback we received during our play tests and make sure Alaskan Road Truckers is ready to hit the road. With a couple of days to go, which is when this thing went live, here's what's currently happening with Alaskan Road Truckers. Community updates. The feedback, bug reports and other ideas we've received from our community has been amazing. We've made tons of updates. This is from when the playtest actually finished, which was a few days ago. And it says, following a recent playtest, blah, blah, blah. Here are some major changes, or here are some changes to our community has, I wish I could read, has requested that we be able to implement already. Now, snow markers, they're calling them. They're called delineators, so they're not even using the correct terminology here. I mean, I just want to nitpick. You know, you have to call them by their name. They're just calling them snow markers, but they're actually called delineators. If you go and you Google it, it will give you an explanation as to what they are and what they look like. The real Dalton Highway has snow markers to make sure you're driving on the road when things get a little cold. Now, this is where they said, we enjoyed not being able to see the road when it's snowing, but we decided after getting some feedback that this wasn't enjoyable for everyone. Well, it's not a case of enjoyable. It's the fact that the practical thing is you need to see the bloody road. And when you see the winter video clips of this game, it gets really bad. So it says, so snow markers are in. You'll know exactly where the road is, no matter the weather. This is a bug that I never noticed. It says mouse. Mind you, I never tested the game with my steering wheel because I don't think it's 100% ready for steering wheels yet. Least of all, my old Logitech Driving Force GT, which I will be testing. But I prefer just to get the controller working in the first place because it wasn't working at the start. During playtests, when you nudged your mouse, it would interrupt inputs from steering wheels. This wasn't actually a bug. In fact, it was a setting that was toggleable in the options. However, after reports that this was bothering players, we decided to remove the option and make it so that when you're using a steering wheel, you won't find it disconnected by mouse movements anymore. Camera centering. Now, this bit I don't quite follow. If you looked at my video, the one thing I was talking about is that when you actually steer to turn a corner in the game, you have to physically turn the camera so you can see where you're going. And then when you get onto the straight road, you have to then center your camera. Now, if you're using a controller, you do that with your right stick. My argument at the time is the fact that the developers should have looked at copying something like Fernbus Simulator or the bus, where they have a very, very good method whereby you can move the camera and look left or look right and then turn a corner. But as soon as you leave the camera control, you leave it alone, after a second, the game will automatically center your camera back on the road ahead. And this game doesn't do that, but they want to be. I think that's one thing they want to work on now. So it says some players didn't enjoy having the camera center itself automatically when driving. Well, my game never did it. unless I had something wrong in the cameras, but I never noticed anything in the camera. So it says, so we've made it a button instead. If you want to be looking straight ahead, just hit the assigned key. Well, that's good. So at least a bit like Eurotruck, you can actually hit a button and that will center your camera automatically. And you'll be starting straight ahead or staring straight ahead. If not, there'll be no interruptions. That is good. It says, where's the snow? The playtest started players near the beginning of spring. While we don't want to throw players in at the deep end, we do know that many of you are anxious to get stuck into the colder parts of the year. As a result of this feedback, players will now start a new game at the beginning of summer, meaning winter and all its hazards is that much closer. Force feedback for steering wheels. One of the key bits of feedback we received was that force feedback was too strong. We don't want to shake your desk to pieces, so we've made improvements to ensure different types of steering wheels have appropriate levels of force feedback. Well, like I say, I haven't tested my driving force steering wheel, which I will do, and I will then know whether, first of all, whether it's compatible, which I think it will be, and also what the level of force feedback is. I've got my force feedback usually turned down fairly low. I mean, I like force feedback, but like they say, I don't want it to shake the foundations of the house when I'm playing the game. So that's another thing they've looked at. In addition to those changes, we've made tons of fixes, updates and tweaks to the game, and more will be coming. Our work on Alaskan Road Truckers isn't finished at launch. We're going to add to the game, fix bugs, and be working on it before, during, and after the game comes out. So keep your feedback coming, especially after launch. As Fraser Crane says, we're listening. I don't know. He must be one of the developers. I don't know. Now it's asking you to review it on Steam once you've actually played it. So they are implementing various things, which is good, and it will be launched barring any problems tomorrow. I don't know what time that will be yet, because although the price of the game has been announced, the price still isn't on Steam as I'm talking now, which is Tuesday the 17th of October, but we do know the price of it. My advice is, if you're looking to get this game, before you commit yourself to buy the game, and now they do say that there's a 10% discount, what I would advise you to do is to go to either CD Keys or Instant Gaming and see whether they have got the game live on their website. Now, I know that I think it's one of the two of them has the old name of the game listed, and they have a price on it which seems very cheap. That more than likely will change, but it usually means that you can guarantee that if this game is on some of the gaming websites, you will get it cheaper, probably even cheaper than what the 10% discount will get you on Steam on the launch day. So don't commit yourself until you've had a look around at the gaming websites, because you can get a cheaper Steam key off the websites. So that's it. They're doing fixes. They've added the Delineators, which is good. Onwards and upwards, and let's see. Now look at that winter scene there. How the hell are you supposed to see a road with thick snow like that coming down? And they thought it was fun. Anyway, good luck with your driving and stay warm.